What's up? It's Miguel, and in this video what I really want to address something that I've been seeing on TikTok and Instagram a lot recently. And this has more to do with a lot of the marketing companies that are trying to essentially look fancy instead of actually trying to produce results. Now the thing is, if you do have the capital to actually buy the fancy offices and buy the fancy logos and buy all the fancy equipment to essentially just get your business started, then by all means, I don't want to get in your way. I don't want to get into anybody else's process. But what I've seen time and time again is that the person that's in their garage just hustling it out and actually producing results is going to be 1,000 to 1,000,000 times more effective than the person with the fancy equipment. And that reason being because the person that doesn't have those resources doesn't have the luxury of being able to hide behind all that fancy equipment. So my biggest piece of advice that I can give you right now is that if you're barely starting out, don't try to save up for that fancy new office. Don't try to save up for the fancy equipment. Try to invest more in knowledge and information that are going to help you produce results. Hone your craft and learn how to actually produce results for your clients so that you won't be hiding behind a facade of fancy equipment. One of the books that I really do recommend is Anything by Alex Hormozi. I have them right here. The $100 million offers, $100 million leads, and $100 million money models. And what I've seen time and time again is that with these books alone, this information alone, if you just keep on consuming it and actually imprint it within your psyche, you're going to be a lot more effective and you're going to get a much more fundamental knowledge of marketing overall than you would with any $2,000 or $3,000 course. Now, of course, I'm not trying to get into anybody's process, like I said, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put you on game that I wish somebody else would have put me on a lot earlier. Now, the next step after you do this, after you read these books, don't just keep on looking for more information to consume. What you need to do is you need to start learning how to apply it as quickly as possible. This can be used in many different instances. You can either start your own business, start actually trying to implement a lot of the information that you learn from the books into your business, or you can start reaching out to other clients or potential businesses that may be looking for some help, and see if there's any gaps that you can fill so you can actually start practicing this knowledge as soon as possible. Now that reason being is that you want to kind of condense the amount of time that you use between consuming the information and applying it into practical knowledge so that you can instantly gain the experience and you can keep on leveling yourself up. So maybe you're going to be charging a little bit less than you would ideally charge once you actually get the ball rolling. But the thing is that you're not looking to actually make an income right off the bat. Unfortunately, a lot of people are looking for getting quick rich schemes, and most of the times they end up either blowing in their face or they end up quitting when it gets a little bit too tough. But if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you kind of want to actually start producing a little bit more results for your client. You want to have something substantial, and you want to get to the point to where if you learn a skill, you can actually produce it for any business in any industry, and you can actually be a source of value for other people that you don't necessarily see too often. So that being said, consume this information, imprint it as soon as possible, and consume it chapter by chapter. What I've seen from these books is that if you just passively read it, you're only going to retain around 10% of it. One piece of advice that I would give you is to try to listen to the audiobook and try to read it as many times as you possibly can. The first time, just read it through without taking any notes. The second time, start taking a couple of notes. And the third time, which if you do more than 3 times, what I see it's just a little bit too much overkill and you're just rehashing a lot of the same information and you're just procrastinating on actually taking action. But between the second and third time, what you want to do is you want to take a month off and just keep on looking back at your notes alone. What this is going to do is you're going to start to begin getting a lot of the information, and you're actually going to be imprinting it in a way to where you're using your own words and not necessarily the author's. So it becomes a source of knowledge that you gain by yourself. So like I said, this information alone, like with Alex Hormozi books, anything having to do with Dan Kennedy, Russell Brunson, anything you can learn about funnels, or anything that you can actually use as a service to provide for other companies that are working right now, is going to help you actually get that slight edge and start performing a lot better than a lot of these companies with a lot of fancy equipment that are more focused on looking nice than actually producing results. It was really good talking to you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one.